Do me a favor, bro. Hold this L.
Hold this L.
Hold this L.
Welcome to another episode of Hold This L with your host, Lonnie and Cappel. What's good, cuz? We back for another episode. You ready?
Man, I'm ready to rock and roll, man. We missed a week. You know, we had some stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff going on. You know, you had your not homecoming, but you had your class reunion.
Man, why you gotta
so
tell
you
people I
was
had
in
my
town.
class reunion, man? You
Hey,
throwing my
I'm
age
just
out
saying,
there.
you know, you was in town.
I
I was excited to spend some time with my big bro. So,
I
you know,
feel you.
to see you and be around you and have a lot of people, not only you, because it's also your homecoming for Peabody. So a lot of my friends that went to Peabody was able to come down, and I was able to see a few people. So it was a really good weekend this past weekend, and man, I'm ready to get in this show, man. I've been excited. I want to talk about some football, basketball coming up soon. We're gonna leave that for a later show, but man, there's a lot of stuff going on. Sports getting back popping. Man, we finna start the playoffs in baseball.
Yeah, October is probably the most exciting month in sports. Simply because you got everything going. You know, you got baseball, football, basketball. I think that's the PGA golf still going, if you like golf. So it's like I think hockey start up this month as well. So I think this is maybe the only month where every sport is being played in the regular season. So yeah, October is what it is as far as sports go. But football is where it's at right now, and that's where our attention is going to be tuned to, for this show in the next few weeks. We definitely will add some basketball as we get the season popping. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Before we get started though, y'all go ahead, like, subscribe. We normally say it at the end, but some of y'all might not make it to the end. Some of y'all might get to the last few thoughts and be like, bam, we going, so but like, subscribe, please follow us. We appreciate the support. Please like, subscribe, send to your friends and family. All right, cuz go ahead. What you about to say?
Man, sometimes we come off the whim. We always have kind of a plan of what we're going with, but I just got to throw something out there. Another shout out to Johnny Coffee, following the page, the podcast, all that. But I just got a question for you and him. What y'all thought about Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews this past week? What Travis Kelce looked like?
Travis Kelce did good. We never said
no.
Travis
He broke
Kelce
records.
One of the best.
He broke his own records. He looked great. He didn't look good. He looked freaking amazing.
Travis Kelce looked just as good as Mark Andrews has looked over the past couple of games.
Without Tyreek Hill. No, not the last couple of games. Keep in mind, Baltimore just got beat, came back on after scoring 20, and didn't do nothing in the second half. That wasn't happening with Kelce. Kelce was bussing the best defense in the league's head.
They're not the best defense in the league.
No, the two best, in my opinion, Levante David.
Your opinion.
And a lot of people's opinion.
Right. No,
I can't. Devin White, two of the best cover linebackers.
Of any of that, regardless of any of that, Travis Kelce is gonna have good games.
He had a great game.
Talent. He's gonna have great games. He's gonna have good. He's gonna have great games. Mark Andrews had a great game the game before that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I like that.
I don't even remember Travis Kelce's stats. I know he had 2 touchdowns, I think, and 100-something yards.
Bro, he had like 11 catches.
11 catches. Is that the record he broke? 11 catches?
I'm gonna give it to you exact. We're gonna get into the show, but I'm gonna give it to you exact as we go.
No, what's the record he broke? Because you're talking as if this record was such
a
great.
It was most catches by a tight end in the first half.
That record. So that's one of those records that could be broken by anybody. It's not a milestone record.
It was his record he broke.
That's fine, but that doesn't change the narrative about who's better. He had a good game. He's going to have some games better than Mark Andrews.
9 receptions for 92 yards and a touchdown.
Yes, he had a good game.
He had a great game.
Nobody's ever going to debate whether he is a great player. This is strictly about him and Mark Andrews. The only way Travis Kelce, in my mind, is I'm going to say Travis Kelce is better is if Mark Andrews falls off this year and he doesn't do well, and Travis Kelce is playing like at a super elite
Like he
level.
do every year.
But Mark Andrews is doing that now too. That's the difference.
Now.
It's like when you look at now Mark Andrews is like 7 years younger than Travis Kelce. When Kelce was 20, when
Kelsey's
Kelce
still
was
producing
26,
better.
you can't count that against somebody who's not 33. When Kelce was 26, 27, he was just getting to his elite status. He wasn't already there from like 22, 23. It took him a while too. It wasn't until Patrick Mahomes actually starting is when he really took off. When he was with Alex Smith, he was just another okay tight end. He was good. He was one of the better tight ends, but he was like 5'6" in the league. People was like, oh, he got so much potential. When Patrick Mahomes started, that's when we was like, Travis Kelce, yeah, he that dude. So it took a while. Mark Andrews, same thing. He got a quarterback who had to grow into themselves. Lamar Jackson got something to prove. And even before that last year, Mark Andrews was killing it with goddamn Tyler Huntley. Let's see Travis Kelce kill it with whoever their backup is. Let's see that, because Lamar Jackson missed like the last 4 or 5 games of the season, and Travis Kelce still was murdering it. So let's move on. I mean, not Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews still murdered it. So let's move on to what we're going to really talk about, because by the end of this conversation, you're going to realize that, you know what, maybe I shouldn't even brought this back up again.
I couldn't wait.
Anyways, let's really jump into what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to start off, with a more serious topic. As you all are aware, I'm sure you're all aware of what happened to Tua last Thursday. Very unfortunate situation for him. Glad he's doing okay. But 2 Sundays ago, he had a nasty hit. He hit his head. People could see him standing up and falling over. It was clear to everybody that this was like a concussion situation. Well, he went in the tent. It was a close game playing against Baltimore. Miami is, and it's a very important game. In any game, players want to come back, but we haven't really seen that lately. We've seen when parents. I don't know why I said that. I'm thinking I'm still at work, but we've seen when players go out with obvious like symptoms of concussion, they don't come back. You know what I'm saying? But Tua came back, and people question it, even though he came back and they won the game. People question what happened. And then he takes another nasty hit on Thursday, and you can see severe symptoms that he suffered immediately after taking that hit. And it has led to personnel getting fired on the medical side for the Miami Dolphins. It's led to the NFLPA looking to file a lawsuit for, the decision that was made. They're looking into making different policies to be more, better structured to protect the players. And just like your thoughts, like on player safety as a whole, because I thought that they were actually doing a pretty good job across the league, but now they got this light shined on them, and it's making some people feel like maybe they haven't been doing as good of a job as we think. So what's your thoughts?
I'm actually in agreement with everything you said, so I'm gonna make this short. First and foremost, they needed a fall guy. I was telling somebody about this at work. All these teams say they hire independent doctors that's not connected with them to make evaluation. For what reason? The doctor that they just fired, that they said didn't follow the procedures that he should have to go back in the game, what reason would he have to do that if he's independent? It has no ties to the team. Why would he do that? I mean, at some point, you just got to start to use your common sense and realize that these doctors, as much as they're trying to make us believe that they're independent, they're not independent. They work for the teams. And the reality of it is the doctor's going to be the fall guy, but I still think the Dolphins should pay for what went on. And do I blame the coach? Absolutely not. The coach's job is to listen to the doctors. The doctor's job is to listen to the owners.
So, I question like some of the process in general, because I was listening to Ron Fitzpatrick at the end of that game, and he was, saying how when he was playing, and I know it's still like this because they've only improved. They hadn't gone backwards. And Ryan Fitzpatrick just played recently as like a year ago or 2 years ago. He said, but they have spotters in the audience. So like when something happens where a player gets hit and there's a sign, if the teams don't catch it, they have the spotters specifically looking for those things and they'll call down. So we can blame the doctors. We can blame the Miami Dolphins. But what about those people? What about those procedures that are supposed to be put in place that are supposed to be from people who don't have any ties to either team to make sure, But see, the thing is if that's the case, then it's always going to be corruption in the situation, because we're talking about who's hiring those people are not hired by the teams.
Maybe that's the reason why the NFLPA is going after them, because maybe it was part of the collective bargaining agreement or whatever it may be, that they would allow the owners to do that. Now that they're seeing that the owners are not capable of being able to do that without having bias, it's going to cause a problem.
So but I don't know. I don't necessarily think that it's one thing to say that the team doctor, while they're independent, they're paid by the team. So technically they work for the team.
I don't think they're paid by the team.
Well, they work for the team. However you phrase it. It's one thing to I don't think they're paid by correlation. The team
legally.
Well, regardless of how they get paid or whatever, it's one thing to see it that way. And I could see that correlation to a doctor really not calling the shots because they just doing what the team want. They're just playing that role. But I don't think the conspiracy goes as deep as you got spotters in the stands, and it's supposed to be several of them. I don't know how many, but it's more than one that are supposed to be looking for these signs of players who have some type of symptoms of a concussion. I don't think the conspiracy would go that deep to where those guys would purposely be like, we're not saying anything because we're told not to. I think it was a lapse in the process.
I agree
as a whole. So
but those spotters,
the team messes up and lets Tua go back in, those spotters, they messed up too, because they should have pulled rank and said, no, he needs to go back to the tent.
But the spotters,
that's the process.
Keep in mind, not only did he go to the tent, they took him to the back.
Yeah.
So the spotters clearly did their job. They were like, you need to evaluate this dude. That's concussion.
No, symptoms. The spotter's job.
He went to the back and saw a neurological doctor, and the doctor cleared him.
The spotters didn't do their job because they're not supposed to allow them to come back out. That's the part that Ryan Fitzpatrick was talking about. He went to the back because he was hurt. They played it off as if we took him to the back because he had a back injury. So if the spotters noticed concussion protocols that need to be looked at, then they would have come back and said he's cleared of concussion protocol.
But they did.
But no, they said he had a back injury. That's what
they said he had a back injury. They said he had no signs of a concussion.
Yes, but it takes longer. It takes longer than that to clear concussion protocol. So they said he had no signs of one. And that's why I say the spotters didn't do their job, because if they did do their job, they would have said he does have signs of concussion because he had the signs on the field. Then he would have had to go through a more thorough process, and then he would have came his ass back on the field.
But
so I don't think the spotters did their job.
The Miami Dolphins, he said they went through a rigorous protocol, and they went through all the protocols.
Yeah,
and then
but the
next day they saying the doctor didn't do all the protocols and they fired him.
Well, yeah, that's what they're saying about the doctor. But at the same time, if you're saying that the doctors work for the owners are not in the back. The owners are upstairs. So when it's like if it's either going to be a process where they're all collectively working together or they not. So I'm of the belief that if the doctors was doing what the team wanted, the coach was part of that decision too, because coaches, they care about their players. So if the coach was really worried about Tua, then he probably would have said, no, you're not going back out. So I have to believe that if we're going to say that they put him back in the game because they didn't follow protocols, they knew that they wanted him back in the game, so they just said he's cleared, then I have to believe the coach was a part of that as well. I'm not going to not put it on the coach, but put it on the owners and put it on the doctor.
I'll give you all that. To be honest with you, and we'll wrap it up and go to the next segment, but I think everybody above Tua has some type of blame in this situation, whether you knew it or not. You know, as a coach, sometimes you just got to go with your own intuition. And to see him get up, walk, and stumble like that, at some point you just got to say, no, he don't look right. Even if they say he cleared, I'm gonna just rest him the rest of this game.
Anybody can see that his stumble was not back related. You can tell when somebody has a backache or a back pain. It's like how they stand up, how they hold their body, how they may fall down.
Or they reach for their back.
Yeah, exactly. And it was nothing. It was clear that it was some concussion issue.
Right.
You know, and when he got hit again, it further damaged.
Confirmed it.
You know, so. But yeah, I'm glad he's doing better. He's out this week. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out another week. You know, you can't. There's no timeline on concussions. And it's the fact that he damaged it. He had a concussion and then it got worse. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out a couple of weeks. So prayers up for that boy. Let's move on. So every week it feels like and this happened last year too, where we just knew that there was a team that was just a team to beat. And then after about 4 or 5 games, it was like, maybe they're not the team to beat. They good, but maybe not the team to beat. And last year was the Rams. Even though they won a Super Bowl, they started off hot. And we was like, man, can't nobody touch them. And then they slowed down. It was like, maybe not. Maybe they're not the best team. Well, that's the Bills this year. Started off like nobody's going to be able to touch them at all. Then they lose to the Bills. They lose to the Dolphins. And even though they beat the Ravens, they should have lost that game. John Harbaugh should have kicked the field goal, put it on his defense. Maybe they would have stopped them. Who knows? I don't know. They were up, even before that, they were up by enough points to really win that game. They let them come back, and the offense sputtered. But they didn't look so unstoppable the last 2 weeks. But there is a team who's looking pretty damn good. And we weren't even talking about them, I guess maybe because of competition. But the Eagles, they look like the team that we need to be talking about as maybe the team to beat.
Yeah, no, you weren't talking about them. I picked them as my NFC.
You picked them after you decided. You picked them after you changed your mind.
You gonna keep doing that?
Yes, because that's what you did.
But I still picked them.
You did pick them.
You're not gonna give me that credit.
But you didn't pick them as. I can't give you the credit as the best team because that's what we're talking about. And you didn't pick them for that.
You didn't pick them for that. Now the best team
49ers
still
to win
the team
the
I
NFC.
told you is the best team.
Well, that's not the best team. They're a good team, but they're not.
No,
the
they
best
got
team.
the best. No, the Eagles got the best record. But they
the
the
Eagles
team.
are playing better than the 49ers. We gonna be real about it. We ain't gonna be biased to our teams. The 49ers are playing good, but they are not playing as the best team right now. We're not talking about personnel. We talk about what we see on the field. And what we see on the field is the Eagles are dominant. Even when they falter, they playing against Jacksonville, they come out sluggish, throw a pick six, or whatever that I forget it was a defensive touchdown, losing 14-0, then come back and smash them boys. In the rain, when it was wet. 49ers played a game against the Bears when it was wet. For some reason, they couldn't capitalize.
But
this is not about the 49ers. This is not the 49ers. That loss ain't got nothing to do with that. You had the quarterback that's supposed to be your future in that game. But again, we talk about the Eagles. They look like the team. They look like the team.
No, they get their props, man. They definitely get their props.
Yeah, what is special to me? What looks special to me about this team is the maturation of Jalen Hurts. He is passing the ball well. He's running like crazy. And when you look at what that team has to offer, the defense is stacked. Offensive line, incredible. Run game is probably one of the best in the league. With the quarterback, and then you got Miles Sanders coming in, Kenneth Gainwell out the backfield. Devontae Smith. Nobody was talking about him. Everybody was like AJ Brown. Devontae Smith is showing people why he was one of the number one picks last year. He don't have the physical tools that AJ Brown have, but to me, he looks like the better receiver. Just as far as receiver goes, route running, getting open passes. AJ Brown got that big body and that height and go up and get it like a DK Metcalf. Devontae Smith will burn you, and not just down the field on routes. He got that Stephon Diggs kind of route running. Devontae Smith.
You really do.
They got weapons everywhere, and they're killing their opponents. That's the thing. They haven't played the same level of competition as some of the other good teams have, like the Bills and Kansas City and the Ravens. But the teams they playing, they're beating the shit out of them, and that's what you're supposed to do if you're a dominant team. So, anyways, what's your thoughts on the Eagles, man?
Well, my thing is one of the biggest things that happened for the Eagles is they actually started using Miles Sanders. The man was averaging almost 6 yards a carry in his first couple of seasons, and it's like they only wanted to run him 6 times a game. I mean, clearly he's shown what he's capable of, along with Jalen Hurts. And I will tell anybody, if you paid attention to Jalen Hurts at Alabama, even his first year in Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is not slight of an arm.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts was lacking footwork, reading defenses, and things like that. You go to, you get certain coaches, you put in the work. If you pay attention to Jalen Hurts now, Jalen Hurts is not looking to run the ball. Jalen Hurts will run the ball when he needs to. Jalen Hurts' footwork has gotten better. His accuracy has gotten better. His throwing of the football has gotten better. Him reading defenses has gotten better, which is his overall maturation. You can see he clearly put in the work in the offseason. Jalen Hurts was already good. Jalen Hurts is trying to be great. And he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I read a stat about Jalen Hurts that a lot of people probably don't know. And if you think I'm tripping, go back and check the stats. His first 3 years in the league versus Lamar Jackson. Their stats are almost identical. This was before the year I'm talking about right now, with how he looks and the way he's throwing the ball and the way he's playing. Go look at his stats in his first 3 years and go look at Lamar Jackson. And you'll see Jalen Hurts is the real deal.
Well, that's believable because Lamar Jackson started off just the same way he did, doing a lot of running. Completion percentage was low. Didn't throw for a lot of yards.
Actually, they did pretty good completion percentage wise, both of them. But they didn't throw a lot of passes. They threw a lot of, play action, easy short routes and things like that to try to make people make plays for them.
Well, their percentages, I can guarantee you their percentage was the low 60s, which is not considered to be good. So I can see how their stats are similar. They threw the ball decently as far as yardage, but they didn't throw it a lot. So they didn't have like 4,000, 5,000 yard seasons. They had low 3,000s, maybe high 2,000s, 2,900, something like that. But they rushing is like the same. They both run the ball a hell of a lot. And I could see how his numbers progressed, just like Lamar's progressed. So yeah, I believe that those numbers are very accurate. Because when you combine the passing with the running, and then you combine the rushing touchdowns with the passing touchdowns, the only difference between Jalen Hurts and why a lot of people don't recognize it the same is because he was doing it in more of a losing effort when Lamar Jackson was doing it in MVP status because his team was winning. So yeah, that definitely makes sense that they have very similar stats. I believe that. And it's funny because Jalen Hurts is on the MVP track. We a lot of people not really talking about the Eagles as being a number one team. They recognize that they're 4-0, but I think as time progresses, more people may start seeing him like that. But Eagles definitely, in my opinion, they're the number one team right now. I don't think they're the best. I don't think they're going to be the best team when it's all said and done. I think they're going to get tested, and they're going to be in that rankings of the top teams up there. But right now, at this moment, I got to give them their kudos. The
49ers going to be the best team, but right now they are the best, definitely.
Yeah, they may be. 49ers got a good team, but good old Jimmy going to do.
Yeah, bypass that if you want to.
No, I said they got a good team. I said they may be.
Great team.
No, it won't be great. Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to Smoke of Fire. So we got a couple of NFC East teams that we're talking about, and oh man, I just know one of the teams that I just can't stand talking about. We want to talk about them first. But the Giants looking good, man. They 3-1. Smoke of Fire. Is this real?
Smoke.
Why is that?
Because they can't do it without Saquon, which means he's going to have to be Saquon every single day and every single time out. And that's a lot to ask from a young guy who's come off of a couple of seasons with injuries. I'm not saying he's not going to put up the numbers and do great, but it's a lot to ask for him to carry the whole team by himself. And I don't see that defense helping him much. And I don't see the receivers and Daniel Jones helping him much, unless something drastically, in my opinion, changes. I think they've just been a blessing of a weak schedule.
So I think it's fire. And a lot of it has to do with thinking about who else is in the NFC. The Cowboys did beat them, but that was a close match. And I look at the fact that they got to play Washington still twice. They got to play the Eagles, so that's going to be tough. They're already 3-1. There's not a lot of competition in the NFC in general. Then they play the weakest division in the league in AFC South. They already beat Tennessee. They're going to add Jacksonville to the mix, Houston to the mix, Indianapolis to the mix. To me, those are 3 wins because I think the Giants are better than all 3 of those teams. So I see them possibly getting into the playoffs as a wild card. And to me, that's fire. If you're a playoff team, especially coming off of the season they having, to me, that's fire. So you're right. Saquon is going to be he's going to be the person to carry them, but I think he can do it. He's off of the injuries. He's shown us that he's no longer hampered by that those injuries he had. The boy looks great. He looks like the best running back in the league, just hands down. I mean, I don't see anybody else running the ball better than him. Nick Chubb is like a close second, a real close second, because Nick Chubb looked really good too, and Derrick Henry's starting to pick it up. But Saquon is the best running back in the league right now, and Daniel Jones, I guarantee you, he's probably number 3 in rushing in quarterbacks. People not paying attention, but Daniel Jones been running the shit out of that ball. He'll drop back, and people they're not ready for it. So they ready for it with Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. Not ready for it with Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones is just the game before he got injured. I mean, the game when he got injured, he only threw 8 passes before he came out the game. He had like 30, 40 something yards rushing. This wasn't even halftime yet, you know? So he's been running the ball a lot, and he's fast. He got some wheels, you know, and I think he's starting to notice that he needs to use his legs a little more because that's an asset for him. So I think it's fire. I think the Giants is fire. Cowboys, smoke or fire?
Man, the Cowboys going to be smoke for me.
Yeah.
Until I see something different. They've been smoked for the last 20 plus years. I think we're gonna be coming up on 30 sooner than later.
I'm with you. If I had no idea what happened with the Cowboys in the last 20-something years and just watched them these first 4 games, I would say that's fire. Look, they lost their starting QB. They're bringing a backup.
No, I said smoke.
Winning with the backup. I know you said smoke. I said if I hadn't known what happened in the last 20 years and just saw these first 4 games, I would say fire because I wouldn't have the past to back it up with. I would just be looking at them now because you look at the facts. The facts are they're 3-1. The only game they lost was a game with their starting quarterback. They're 3-0 with a backup. They look good with Cooper Rush, playing to win the game, not overplaying Cooper Rush, playing within his means. But I'm with you. It's smoke because it's the Cowboys, and we know what the Cowboys are. Like they're already trying to rush Dak back. Why rush Dak back when Cooper Rush is playing with no problem? They already said how long they anticipate him being out, and now they saying he may be back this week, which is early. Why? He came back early last year. Remember when he got injured? And did he look good? No, he did not. So is Dak worried about his job? Is he worried that Cooper Rush is going to take it from him? He shouldn't, because Cooper Rush ain't that dude to take his job. Cooper Rush may be a serviceable quarterback later in his career.
They just paid him.
I know. So I say it's smoke. I think the Cowboys are going to do things that Cowboys do. They're going to do Cowboy shit, and they're going to either rush Dak back or they're going to bring Dak back, and then they're going to start trying to throw it all over the field. They're like, oh, we got Dak back, instead of trying to play conservative like they're doing with Cooper Rush, and they're just going to end up loss. What we're going to see is this. This is what we see with the Cowboys when Dak is quarterback. Can't move the ball first quarter. Can't move the ball second quarter. Can't move the ball third quarter. They down by 20 points. Dak throw the ball all over the field because they playing cover 2. Then he put up big numbers, and then after we get 5-6 games in, Dak is not the problem. Look at these numbers he's putting up. Come on, y'all. Act like y'all not watching the football game. So, yeah, we both agree that it's smoke. All right, last one. Josh Allen, MVP, smoke or fire?
It's straight smoke for me right now. I think there's 2 or 3 people that's over him for MVP. So right now, I don't see it at all. Not one bit.
It's definitely.
I'm not saying he can't be. I'm just saying there's several other players in the league that's playing better than him. And I'm gonna throw out a shout out to our LSU native and Justin Jefferson. I know a lot of receivers don't get thrown out for MVPs and stuff like that, but that boy is killing it. That boy making Kirk Cousins look like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I do.
No. What you said,
what
you said about him making Kirk Cousins like Aaron Rodgers, that's true. But Justin Jefferson had 2 big games and 2 duds, so I can't throw him in the MVP. He's not even close, in my opinion, to being in the MVP conversation. But he is incredible, and he does make Kirk Cousins look way better than he is. You can't be in the MVP conversation, and we get 4 games in, and you had 2 games where you didn't do nothing. But I'm with you. Josh Allen is smoke. Like right now, Lamar Jackson is my MVP, and Jalen Hurts is right behind him. Jalen Hurts is right behind him. I know I kind of alluded to it earlier, talking about Jalen Hurts as a candidate, because I don't think a lot of people are saying his name, even though some people may have him like 4 or 5 or whatever. But he's my number 2 candidate right now with the way he's playing. If he keeps playing the way he's playing and they're winning, even Lamar Jackson, it was on a record pace. He had a down game last week, but he was on a record pace for yards, passing, and touchdowns. So if he gets back into that rhythm and he just keeps pushing forward, man, Lamar gonna have a historic season.
I agree.
It's incredible watching him play and how he, just his skill set is so dynamic. If he becomes a passer, like a real ball, because a lot of people don't respect him as a passer, and I think he's trying to prove people wrong. And if he is proving people
wrong, he ain't trying to.
Well, I'm gonna say try until you do it consistently. The consistency for me matters. If you
Right.
start the year like that, and then we go the next 5 or 6 games where you throw 1 touchdown and then 2 touchdowns a game and then 1 touchdown. Well, now you didn't went back to what we, and I mean, of course, it's more than just touchdowns. It's more about just passing in general. The types of passing yards you get, not garbage time passing yards, stuff like that. So if he goes backwards, then yeah, I'm not going to be saying the same thing. That's why I say for now, because I'm looking at what he's doing now, but I need to see it over a period of time. And he hasn't done that part yet when it comes to just being that dynamic as a pass over a period of time. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, that's definitely my MVP. Josh Allen, he's number 3 on my list. Let's move on to our picks for the week. Nukked Up picks. What you got for our FanDuel participants, cuz?
As far as FanDuel, I got 3 anytime touchdown scores. My 3 anytime touchdown scores for the week is going to be Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings, Deebo Samuel for the San Francisco 49ers. And my final one will be, give me just a second. I lost him for just a minute, but he will come right back to me, guys. And that person is going to be Mike Evans for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those are my 3 anytime touchdown scores.
Who's Tampa playing this weekend?
Tampa Bay this week is going to be playing the Falcons.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one, Mike Evans, for sure. So my picks, I got 4 picks. Normally I do 3. 4 is not going to be the norm, but there are 4 picks that I really like. The first one is Jacoby Brissett for over 210.5 yards. The last 2 games, Jacoby Brissett has thrown for 220 or more yards. He's playing against the Chargers. While a lot of people are may have in their minds that the Chargers defense is, good on paper. It is on paper, but so far the defense has been okay. It hasn't been lights out. I think they lost Joey Bosa.
More turnovers, but giving up a lot of yards.
Yeah, so they gave up over 230-something yards to Davis Mills this last game. And Jacoby Brissett has been playing good. He's been playing really good. So 210.5 passing yards for Jacoby Brissett. I think that's a lot. Geno Smith is playing the Saints. His number is 240.5 yards. I think that's an under. That's not an over for me. And let me tell you why. Geno Smith's last two games has lit it up. Over 320 passing yards both games. But those games were against the Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons. He's also had two games against two really good defenses, the Denver Broncos and the San Francisco 49ers. And both of those games, he didn't crack 200 yards. He's playing against the Saints defense that's on par with those two defenses as far as their pass on defense and run defense. So while Geno Smith has been playing well, he may actually have a good game against them. It won't be a good statistical game. So to me, that 240.5, that's a way under, to be honest. I feel like that is probably the biggest lock on my board. And I don't normally take unders, but I do like this one. I love this one as well. Dameon Pierce against the Jacksonville Jaguars for 61.5. Have y'all been watching Dameon Pierce? This boy been killing it. He's clearly the number one tailback on that team. He's getting about 15 rushes, at least 15 rushes a game. He's involved in the pass game as well, but they don't have nothing to do with his prop. And he ran like a 50, 60, 70 yarder last game against the Chargers defense. And now he's playing against Jacksonville, who don't have a good defense at all. 61.5. He might be like 13 yards away from that after the first half. So to me, that's a lot. And then James Robinson. James Robinson didn't have a great game against the Chargers last week.
He didn't play, did he?
He started. Yeah, he did play.
Okay.
He played. He did play. He had like 28 yards, and he came out. He didn't rush that many times, but they were behind. Chargers did put up some points, and they started passing the ball. So that was a byproduct of the game flow. But he is playing against the Houston Texans this week, and I think James Robinson is going to have over 62.5 rushing.
He's killing it, man. He's having a great year.
Absolutely killing it. So those are my 4 picks. Over on Jacoby Brissett, 210.5 rushing yards. Under Geno Smith, 240.5 passing yards. I said Brissett rushing yards. I'm sorry, passing yards. Dameon Pierce, over 61.5 rushing yards, and James Robinson, over 62.5 rushing yards. All right, let's go to our L's, man. Who you got holding the L this week, bro?
Oh, let me load up for this. Ime Udoka.
Uh-huh.
What the hell is wrong with you? Like, there's one thing. Look, we all know in sports, there's a lot of scandals. There's a lot of cheating. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Dude, really? And I told people, because I knew from the jump when it came out, I was like, there's only one person that can benefit from this coming out. Whoever he messing with got an old lady. Got an old man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only person. The Celtics don't care. He took them to the finals. Guess who leaked it? Her old man.
Well, of course.
Dude, and they got you all on the Ring doorbell, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, and you with Nia Long. Let's not keep in mind you engaged to Nia Long and she was in Boston looking at houses with you and her son when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to say. It's so stupid. Like, I don't know what your thought process was, but clearly you didn't have one. So you gotta hold this L, Udoka, because stupidity is an option.
For some people.
No, for all people. You even for people who are stupid beyond the fact, when you're doing something stupid, after you become about 15 years old, you realize when you're doing something stupid that it's stupid.
Yeah.
You knew that was stupid, and you decided to do it anyway.
I got so many opinions on that situation, but I'm gonna keep them to
Bruh,
myself. We don't have
my
a lot of
God.
time to really get into it. But yeah, that's a good L to hold for him. I got opinions that differs just simply from his decision. But anyways, so my L this week is to a bunch of people. I don't know the people's names because they scrubs, they nobodies. They they could have been people who we would know forever, but because they were scared to pitch to Aaron Judge, they won't be. So my L goes to every single pitcher who pitched to Aaron Judge before he hit the 61st and 62nd home run. Y'all some cowards. Straight up cowards. You a grown ass man playing a grown man sport and you scared to pitch to somebody? Own your skill. If he crush it and hit it over the wall, then you just 61. We'll see it for years to come. You'll be on TV for years to come. At least you'll be famous forever because you ain't gonna be goddamn famous for pitching. But you want to be a coward. You want to be scared, and you don't want to pitch to one of the greatest hitters in the history of the game of baseball. I'm glad he finally got his 62. I'm glad he got his 62. And you coward ass baseball pitchers, every single one of y'all, from the starters to the relief pitchers, all y'all just ridiculous. Yeah, your nuts ain't dropped.
I love it, bro. That was
scary.
Awesome.
This is ridiculous. That was awesome. I'm still everybody. America's watching, waiting on Aaron Judge to hit the home run, and we gotta be succumb to pitches low and outside and high and inside, making him chase his ball. Come on now, that's ridiculous.
Just so everybody know, I like that L better than mine.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been watching every game trying to see Aaron Judge hit these home runs.
Everybody has.
And I saw it last night. Kudos to the pitcher who got the home run hit on him because you wasn't scared. You didn't nut up. You didn't get scared. You did what you're supposed to do, and you challenged him. You just lost the battle. Somebody's gonna lose it. Hey, I wouldn't be mad if it was me. I'd be like, I went at him. He got the best of me. You little scary bastards. Even teams that wouldn't even make it the playoffs. You're not even making the playoffs, and you pitching around Aaron Judge because you don't want the home run to be on you. Man, it's just I could talk about this all day because it really pissed me off. You know how bad these pitchers was pitching to Aaron Judge or whatever. But congratulations to Aaron Judge. I'm glad he got that.
Definitely. Congrats, bro.
And playoffs about to start. If they would have won, I don't think people realize this, but he could have challenged Barry Bonds if they would have pitched to him.
Absolutely.
If they would have just pitched to him and let nature take its course, either he would have hit the home runs he wouldn't have. He would have got 62 a lot sooner. He could have challenged. Aaron Judge could hit 10 home runs in about 11 or 12 games, and he was sitting on 61 forever. But it is what it is. I'm just glad he got it. He broke the record the natural way. I love Barry Bonds. I ain't mad at Barry Bonds for breaking it the steroid way. That was the way back then. So I got love for Barry Bonds, but Aaron Judge, you did the damn thing, bro. Anyways, again, please like, subscribe, share with your family and friends. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is Hold This L. I am Cappel.
And I'm Lonnie.
We out.
Peace.